Here now, Congressman Peter King is member of the House Intelligence Committee and the Homeland Security Committee, which just raised a report warning about the rise of homegrown extremism here in the United States. Peter, good evening. Good to have you with us, Congressman, tonight. Talk to us a little bit about the reaction in this country and what we're doing to try to prevent something like this here, which we all know is a very real threat.
Martha, if anything positive can come from such a horrible tragedy, again, this can be a vivid wake-up call to all Americans to realize how real this threat is. The threat of Islamist terrorism is real. It can strike anytime, anywhere. We in the United States are, of course, main targets, and living in New York, we're special targets. Now, having said that, what we have to do is make sure that we can have all the security that we want, and we do need a lot of it. But in addition to that, we need intelligence to head these to head these attacks off. We need the intelligence. To get that, you need surveillance. You have to be monitoring where the threat can be coming from. That means the Muslim communities. Yes, it means mosques. It also means dealing with the overseas allies, any information they have about anyone who will be coming from their countries into the United States. We have to find out who's being radicalized and who's not. And we can't let our guard down. And we have to realize this is not going after any particular religion or anything else, but it's going where the threat is coming from. And intelligence is absolutely essential. Intelligence prior to the attack, not just trying to track them down afterwards.
I mean, you make a great point. And I remember when you wanted to hold hearings on Islamic extremism in the United States of America, and you couldn't do it because there was so much politically correct pushback on using that. They wanted you to encompass lots of different forms of potential extremism. But let's face it. I mean, you have more than 300 people who've been killed in these kinds of attacks in Europe. We've had several here as well in some of the attacks in San Bernardino and in Orlando as well. I mean, are we getting to a point where we're taking this seriously enough to actually do what we need to do?
Well, if we have to, and actually I did hold those hearings, but there was tremendous opposition to them. No, what we have to do, for instance, with the FBI, and the FBI does an excellent job, but we saw in San Bernardino, we saw in Orlando, that they actually had investigations open, but then after a certain amount of time, they let them go.
And in Boston.
Well, Boston, they didn't even tell the local police about it. Absolutely. So those three cases are examples where those individuals under that type of surveillance, the surveillance should be kept. And if the FBI doesn't have the personnel to do it, have the local police do it. Because, again, these people can be willing to wait months and years before they carry out their attack. So just monitoring them for 2 or 3, 4 months or 6 months cannot be enough. In many cases will not be enough.
Can you create an environment, though, where people feel safe, you know, turning someone in if they have legitimate reason to be concerned, just as you would with any other crime or any other suspicion? Is there a way to do that?
Yes, there is. I mean, I can tell you that the FBI and the police will do all they can to assure someone's security. And also, one advantage we have here in the United States, that Islamist radicals are a very, very small percentage of the Muslim population. This isn't like in parts of Europe where there's actually a very hostile Muslim community. In our country, for the most part, Muslims are very patriotic, very pro-American. So if they do turn somebody in, they should be rewarded by their community.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, too often they're not. Somehow it's a cultural reason they don't. But again, I think we should encourage them to do it, and they will be rewarded not just by the country, but also by the good people in their community, which is the overwhelming majority. But they have to start doing it. We need more cooperation from within that community, including from the mosques and the religious leaders.
Congressman, thank you. Always good to have you with us.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you.